Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Talk. This is the show where I break down what happened at the box office, see if my predictions for the top 5 are correct, then make predictions for next week's top 5. So let's get right on into it. Last week, I predicted that number 1 would be Novocaine, number 2 would be Black Bag, number 3 would be Mickey 17, number 4 would be Opus, and number 5 would be The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. And unfortunately, I only got 2 out of 5 of my predictions right. The complete opposite ends of each other as well, which is always very funny when I somehow manage to get that correct. I haven't checked the comments yet, but if you got your predictions right, here are your shout outs right now. If you didn't, then better luck next time. This was really like a very, very slow, just dry weekend at the movies. I was really kind of crushed to see these numbers, even when we get to our number 1, which was, of course, Novocaine. That was the one that I did get correct. Just out of the new releases, it seemed like the one that could, out of all of them, pull ahead and actually get there. But even then, it made 8.7 million this weekend. That's just domestically. Worldwide, it only bumps up to 10.5. That's it for the number 1 movie at the top 10 domestic box office this weekend. That is really painfully low. And it just, I know the budget is 18 million, so I mean, it's starting off decently enough, where if it had some strong word of mouth to it, which, some people are enjoying it, it's been decently reviewed, and talked about amongst audience members. I think the cinema score is like a B plus, or, it's pretty high up. It's not one of these record breaking low ones for cinema score that are a little common actually. Either way, though, it has a chance, if audience members actually go out to support it. But this is literally the weekend before Disney Snow White, and obviously Disney blockbusters can underperform. It's been proven at this point. Even the remakes, The Little Mermaid. Well, the thing is I would say that underperformed, but overall it did make a lot of money, and it did suck up a lot of competition from other things. So, yeah, I don't know. With a budget this low, it's similar to how Love Hurts cost this much, but that one, well, okay, Novocaine has the advantage in the sense that Love Hurts got thrashed critically, and the word of mouth, it did not catch on with regular audiences as well. But that being said, go to Hard Eyes, same weekend, same budget, 18, man, a lot of 18 million budgets recently. That one got really great reviews, really strong reception, and it got a little bit of a boost on Valentine's Day weekend, but it's out of the top 10 at this point, and it was not able to cross over the doubling point of the initial 18 million production budget. So what do you gotta do? You know what I mean? At this point, to get the word out there, to let people know, no, this is something you could go see and have fun with. This is something you could do. Oh, I understand. Everyone's got their own thing going on, and the economy, and the world sucks, and everything. It's so I don't want to get too much on a high horse, but it is very discouraging as someone who really loves movies and loves especially an original film and an original action comedy like this with Jack Quaid, who's obviously made a name for himself in some supporting roles in The Boys and Scream 5. This and Oppenheimer, he showed up in there in the large ensemble. I would say, even if you take Companion into consideration, I would say this is his first proper leading man, lead role, you know what I mean? And it's a victory because it's number 1, but it's will it be able to maintain this and double this budget, maybe after the fact when it hits home video? But I'm tired of movies becoming successes when they're out of the theaters. It's man, because then it only encourages people to go well, people want to see movies at home, so let's just dump everything in streaming. Let's throw 320 million at the Russos to make the worst movie of all time. I'm kidding. The Electric State isn't that bad. It's bad though, man. And this is it's one of these budgets that we've been clamoring for. Yes, you don't need $100 million to make every single original ideas. It doesn't have to be too risky. Is it just a marketing thing? But I feel like this one got marketed the most. I don't know. I'm talking in circles. A lot of points brought up before, no clear solutions. I don't know what to do. Go check out this movie if you can. Number 2 was Mickey 17, a 60% drop from last weekend, and it wasn't a high opening weekend, but it made 7.51 million, now adding to a domestic total of 33 million, so it's 20 million distance away from Parasite for Bong Joon-ho, and then worldwide it is sitting at 67 million, so that's a 15 million distance from Snowpiercer. So it hasn't outgrossed any other Bong films, and it's looking like maybe it won't because it's about to hit home video already. It's I think the official number will be it'll be 18 days after it was released, and then it's going to hit home video. This is what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? And once again, not to reiterate points I made in the last time, and this one is clearly like the Bong Joon-ho just got a blank check because he just won Best Director, Best Screenplay, Best Picture for Parasite, all that. So is it a complete loss? Not necessarily for him. He already got his money and he got his movie made the way he wanted to. Warner's is the one that's suffering. But still, it is still a bummer that, he can't, make a passion project and then have the full kind of studio support and rollout and, kind of respect to keep it in the circuit, keep it in people's minds. It's just coming home right away. Once again, going back to how, it's like these studios have conditioned the audiences themselves to stay home. Like, we're coming out of a pandemic where everything kind of went home because everyone was like, okay, no one's going anywhere anyways. But now they're still like trying to cater to that, years later. Like, okay, it's coming home immediately. It's like, this is really fucked things, genuinely. And it's upsetting, it's upsetting when I see these reports of movies that aren't necessarily doing great, and then just the news comes out like, well, don't worry, it's just going to come home anyways. So then you'll see all of the tweet, if you're on film Twitter or anywhere, you'll see all the tweets or the comments on YouTube attached to clips of people going like, man, this really should have been seen in the theaters. I can't believe I missed this or whatever. It's like, yeah, I can't. People try to tell you. I don't know. Oh my god. Anyways, number 3 is Black Bag, another one. This is right after the Soderbergh Presence movie, which cost $2 million to make, and it had a decent return overall just because of that small budget. But this movie cost $50 million, complete opposite. It opened to $7.50 million, and worldwide it's only bumped up to 11.7. And this is a movie that's like, it's a tight 90. This isn't like, oh, movies are too long now kind of thing. It's like an hour, 30 minutes. And it doesn't drag at all. It's got names: Michael Fassbender and Cate Blanchett, Regé-Jean Page from Bridgerton and Dungeons and Dragons. It's got people in it that and it's got good reviews as well. Another example of like, this is the kind, and it's original. It's not based on any pre-existing source material, or it's a remake of a famous film that people are tired of seeing or whatever. It's a completely original. Another movie has come where it seems like it fits all the criteria of like what a lot of modern audiences are kind of clamoring for, and once again, they don't see it. And I think I'm only going to harp on that a little bit more because, I mean, like we've been saying, this is a very dry weekend. Not a lot of money made here, obviously. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like, well, Novocaine really swept up with like a 50 million debut. It's like, no, all of them are in the single digits. I have to do the 8.7 or 7.5 kind of reporting for all of them. God, I can't express my frustration enough. These are all good. These top 3 are all good movies. You should all go check them out, by the way. Maybe before some people who will be like, well, I'm trying to prioritize, my money saving to see just the best kind of films in theater before you buy a ticket to Snow White. Maybe think first. I don't know. Maybe that does turn out good. The reviews aren't out yet, but still, it's like I'm tired of like people that are like clamoring for original ideas. You know what? Yeah, that's what it is. There's a mix of like people who will clamor for original ideas. They don't see a lot of movies in theaters, but they prioritize just the big stuff. And it's like, it seems like your priorities are in a really weird place if you're clamoring for something opposite than what you're seeing. Okay. Is this all over the place? I don't know. It doesn't matter. I only wanted to compare the stats for Steven Soderbergh and David Koepp's last film, Presence. The opening weekend was 4 million over Presence, so that's decent, and it outgrossed Presence domestically by 1 million and worldwide by 2 million, so it's outgrossed that film, but the contrast being, of course, this movie cost $50 million to make, and it's not anywhere close to that. And Presence was much more a lower budget, and that one is reaping the rewards of that, just, in comparison. Oy vey. Anyways, let's move on to number 4, which is Captain America Brave New World, making $5.4 million, adding to a domestic total of $185 million. For the MCU, it did outgross Ant-Man by $5 million. It's $4 million over Thor and $2 million over Black Widow. It's now sitting behind Thor the Dark World by $21 million. Does it have the momentum to get that? I guess it depends. Probably not. I guess. I don't know. It's probably going to stop here. I think it did outgross all of the, like, pretty low recent years Marvel movies at this point. So good on it. It's the highest one of those. Worldwide, it is sitting at 388 million. So for the MCU, it's outgrossed Captain America the First Avenger by 18 million, and it's 9 million over Black Widow, but it's sitting behind Eternals here by 13 million, and I know Shang-Chi's a little bit above that, so worldwide it's got a little bit of ways to go, but domestically at least it cleared some of these other recent MCU outings. Even if it's not a good movie, whatever. Man, it's just so depressing to like talk about the end, especially for the top 3 movies that I did really like, but it's like there's nothing here to really celebrate, and it's like it's really concerning. Like if we celebrate later, it's because we got really surprised by how strong the word of mouth for Novocaine is. It was able to hold its own against Snow White in a niche kind of audience, or Black Bag is really gaining traction worldwide, or something. Like it's gonna come later. Right now, it's just whatever. Mickey 17 got fucked completely. God damn. Anyways, number 5, The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. Hey, animation is cinema. Twitter, animation is cinema, internet. Where the fuck were you? Made 3.1 million. Maybe this is all of it. Maybe this number is accurate to that, which would be a bummer. Anyways, it made 3.1 million. Worldwide, it is only sitting at 4.01 million. This is on a budget of 15 million, which you'd think would be pretty reasonable. And you can put in like a decent like marketing campaign. Like here's the movie. I can't recall seeing a single trailer for this except maybe once in front of like maybe Paddington, if I'm remembering correctly. I don't remember seeing it anywhere else. I can't say that at the Regal or AMC I went to that they put a poster up. If they did, it's buried. Couldn't find it anywhere. It's not like they were doing a great job advertising this there. Especially like I didn't see a commercial for it at home. It's not like there's no TV spots, at least from what I saw. It's just, man, guys, this is not released by Warner Brothers, even though it was made by Warner Bros. Animation. This was released by Ketchup Entertainment. They released that Ben Affleck Hypnotic movie, which was really awful. But it's released by them because Warner Brothers was about to fucking, shelve this. It was about to be like a streaming release. They were going to like write it off for taxes like they were doing so many other things, potentially even Coyote v. Acme if they haven't already. That's still a little unclear to me. But man, this could have been a real great opportunity to show like you put this in the theaters, even with a low budget, it can still do well. There's still an interest here. And once again, this is another one where the reviews from critics and audience members have been really good. And it's just, man, really let this one down. It's just, once again, it's that mixture of like, man, the people that will, talk up about, animation is cinema, like we gotta, save the Looney Tunes, we gotta show that we really want Coyote v. Acme or whatever, they don't set reminders that this one's coming out, they don't look into it any further, or they knew it was coming but didn't make any immediate plans to see it, or maybe they never were. And also the combo of, it wasn't marketed properly at all. That's totally true, but, I don't think it's really more than one thing in this instance. Because I've seen these viewing habits, I can't put it all on the marketing when I know a lot of, casual audiences can look at something that's been marketed to death and still not see it, whether it's, praised or not. God damn. Whatever. Once again, another depressing one. And this one, I think, especially because, man, we're never going to see that fucking Coyote versus Acme movie. God damn it. Number 6 is The Last Supper, making 2.8 million. I don't know what the budget of this thing is. I honestly, when I saw this up here, I thought like, is this like a fucking episode of The Chosen? Is this The Chosen like final season? They finally got to the Last Supper or something like that. I think it's just a completely separate movie. Who cares? There's like a fucking million of these. What makes this one special? Probably nothing. Let's move on to number 7, which is Paddington in Peru. Some decent news. It made 2.7 million, adding to a domestic total of 41 million. Domestically, it did finally outgross Paddington 2 by 1 million, exactly 1 million. Needs 35 million until it gets to the original film, so I don't think there's enough momentum to get there. Worldwide, it is sitting at $183 million, so officially, it did double its 90 million initial production budget, so there's that. It crossed over that initial point, the doubling point of that, so that's good. It's still sitting behind Paddington 2 here by 58 million, so still worldwide the lowest grossing Paddington film, but it did just barely doubled his budget, and domestically, it's the second highest grossing Paddington film. So there you go. There's something There's some decent news. Number 8 is Dogman, making 2.5 million, adding to a domestic total of 92 million. Domestically for DreamWorks, it did outgross Ants by 2 million. Fuck you, Woody Allen. It needs 5 million now until it outgrosses The Bad Guys, which, actually, that's pretty good. The Bad Guys is one of those that, it did decently, and it's a recent DreamWorks release. It was 2022. If this one domestically can outgross that, I think if it has the momentum to get there, I think that's pretty good. You know what I mean? Like, I know I've been saying, like, man, it just seems like it just kind of dropped off, and I don't even know how fair that is to say because, maybe the Dogman fandom isn't that big to see it in theater. But, if it can get past The Bad Guys, at least domestically, it's like, okay, well, there's still some kind of audience there that was still growing with this movie. So there you go. Worldwide, it is sitting at 125 million. So it didn't outgross Captain Underpants yet. It's sitting behind that by 1 million, but it got pretty close. Number 9 is The Monkey. There we go. Some good news. Dogman in this, and slightly Paddington. The Monkey made 2.4 million, adding to a domestic total of 35 million. For Oz Perkins, it is still 39 million away from Longlegs, but then for Neon's domestic list, it is 18 million away from Parasite. It is, of course, in the top 3 still. Worldwide, it is sitting at $49 million, 1 million shy of making 5 times its 10 million initial production budget. Very good. It is 76 million away from Longlegs for Oz Perkins, and then for Neon, it did outgross Ferrari by 9 million. So currently it is the top 5 highest grossing Neon worldwide run. It is only 2 million away from Enora though, so it'll just keep on rising at number 4. And that's, once again, like, we finally got some good news in this video. That's pretty cool. I do enjoy that quite a bit. And closing out the video, number 10, Last Breath. This one really fucking sunk. Ba-dum-tis. Insert the drum roll there. I'm not going to do that. Anyways, I think it's a snare drum, actually. Who cares? It made 2.3 million, adding to a domestic total of 18 million. Still no worldwide totals for this thing yet, and it never doubled its 23.8 initial production budget. And that's the video. That's the top 10. A lot of numbers that are very small and very close together. These could all mix around. Womp womp. Anyways, now it's time for the fun part, the predictions for next week's top 5. Number 1, yeah, Snow White. I don't know if this thing will underperform or if it'll, be a really big hit. I don't know how much it cost either. I guess it also depends on that. It could be like Little Mermaid, where that one kind of blew up in a huge way because of the underwater stuff. Or maybe not. But either way, I do still think it will be number 1, obviously. Number 2, I think, will be Alto Nights. Then number 3, Novocaine. Number 4, Mickey 17. And number 5, Black Bag. I don't think Ash or Locked will get into the top 5 despite these low numbers. I mean, I guess I never brought it up, after predicting Opus to get to the top 5 and it didn't, My bad, but I got the Looney Tunes one right just by pure accident. Anyways, what are your predictions for next week's top 5? Leave them in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.